Hi, and welcome to Cat Run Figures. I'm your host, Caitlin, and today we are going to be reviewing Hood the Outlaws, issue 7. So, this is the How Do You Solve a Problem Like Bizarro story.
Eat a cough drop.
Shut up, Mark. So, as you can see right there, cover. So, getting right on into it, we get to see Red Hood and Bizarro are cleaning up some of the remaining loose ends associated with Black Mask. So Red Hood tells them all they're basically scum and that they're going to stop business now and it's all going to be good. They're just going to leave, and maybe they might survive through the night if they leave Gotham now, right? And of course, they're not really just going to take that. And, yeah, Bizarro doesn't like people pointing guns at his friend. And he tells them, me am friend, he referenced. Me am Bizarro. So, I love the fact that in this, we get to see a lot of references where Jason can see a lot of the destructive, younger version of himself as Robin in Bizarro, where Bizarro can take it a little too far, the same way that Jason used to take it too far. And he finds himself constantly saying, enough, Bizarro. But I love it because there's a little bit of an attack and Jason's thrown, but it's all good because Bizarro's there to catch him, and he says, me have you read him? And he's saying, me looking forward to crushing anyone who hurt Bizarro's only friend, besides Red Her and Pop Pop. But, I gotta tell you, I'm kind of slowly starting to fall in love with this Bizarro clone of Superman that's kind of messed up. He's kind of like a fucked up clone, but you gotta love him. So, we also get to see Killer Croc. And I love it because Jason references, he's like, wait, I thought you got drafted into the Suicide Squad. And we find out that Black Mask sold him into these drug dealers' ring as a sense of protection. And he says, grrr. And then Bizarro responds with, double grrr. But I like it. He says, Croc man, hurt Red him. So, of course, Red Hood's a little concerned. Well, he beheads Killer Croc. And Red Hood is screaming, Bizarro, don't! And thankfully it was a robot Killer Croc. It wasn't the real deal. So the drug dealers are completely insulted, saying, what? He was a stinking synthetic? Well, of course, Bizarro and Red Hood decide to walk off, and he asks him, he's like, Bizarro, tell me the truth. Did you know it was a robot? And he looks at him, he says, be honest. He says, sure, Bizarro knew. Me knew. And we go back to the central place that the new Outlaws team are calling their home base right now. And Artemis is there with Jason, and they're going through a bunch of files that they found on the Bizarro clones. And we get to see all of these really, really kind of sad, messed up projections from this doctor who's discussing exactly why they're so dangerous, all of these Bizarro clones that are so unstable. Basically stating that one of these clones is just one temper tantrum away from a cataclysmic and pretty much an apocalyptic event. He could basically destroy an entire country without really bothering. So they decided that they were going to destroy the entire Bizarro program. Well, this clone survived. And he basically woke up the day that Red Hood and Artemis stumbled across him. And it's kind of, it kind of brings me back to an old Yeller situation where they're discussing whether or not they should put down the dog. And Artemis tells Red Hood that she's not going to say that her life is worth more than Bizarro's, but that there are a lot of innocents out there that could possibly be hurt moving forward. And whether or not they owe it to them to take out this possible threat. So, of course, Jason goes back to the Wayne Manor, one of the places that he always seems to find himself going back to whenever anything goes wrong. It's basically where all the Robins go back to as home base. So it's kind of funny because he and Alfred have this little conversation, and Alfred says, "Why is it that every time you stop by the visit, Master Bruce seems to have just left?" And Jason says, "Yeah, well, timing's everything, right?" And he takes the time to ask him, very simply, if Bruce ever saw him as a disappointment, if he ever regretted taking him on as a Robin. And Alfred tells him no, not a moment. He always saw him. He always believed in him, even in his darkest days. They all did. And we also get to see him ask Alfred something, if he could leave him alone in the cave for a couple of minutes, and if he could also do him a favor and not mention this to anyone. And Alfred says, always. So he steps aside, and Jason has to go and collect something that's very important, something that's kind of heartbreaking, and that's a kryptonite bullet. Something that Bruce always kept just in case you had to kill a friend. So we get to see Red Hood and Bizarro going out the escapes. They're on this beautiful beach, and he's talking to him. And they're talking about Jason's life and Bizarro and what Bizarro feels. And Bizarro's saying that he doesn't hate the world. And he's trying to be the best he can be. And when he first stepped out into the world, that all of these things, all of these fake memories that had been implanted in him, they're not his memories. They never were. But he found good people. He found Red Him, and he found Red Her. So he's talking about Jason and Artemis. And this entire time, we get to see Red Hood is loading the kryptonite bullet into a gun, and he's pointing it at the back of Bizarro's head. And he's saying, "Bizarro, I'm not perfect, but Red Him showed me how. And me promised to be the best Bizarro me can be." So there's this moment where you're kind of thinking he's going to do it. And Jason's just pointing the gun at him in the back of his head. And then he puts the gun down and he says, "It's late. Let's get back home." And Bizarro says, "Can Red Him stay longer? Me like this place." And he's like, "Sure, buddy." So Jason almost blew out Bizarro's brains just because Bizarro can and still could potentially be this really big bad, which I'm really hoping he doesn't, because I'm starting to get really attached to him, especially with him kind of being a reason for Red Hood to continue through this path that he's staying on. This whole anti-hero to back to a hero pathway that he's going through. I fell in love with Red Hood, especially in the New 52's Red Hood and the Outlaws. I loved him all the way through Red Hood and Arsenal run, and I had a hard time really attaching myself to this new team. I've really been enjoying the writing throughout. The art's been a lot stronger than what I originally thought it was going to be when the original art was first released for it. And I gotta tell you, I'm starting to really care about this new team, especially Bizarro, which surprised me because I thought it was really stupid when they first came out with the Dark Trinity. But I'm actually really starting to come around, and I feel like this is very similar to the New 52's team, where they were written to make you kind of hate them, but then they came together as a team, and it kind of forced you to fall in love with each of these characters, and as flawed as they were, I feel like this is the same setup. They're doing it just the same. So give me a like if you like this video, comment below, and tell me whether or not you're enjoying Red Hood and the Outlaws as much as I am. Subscribe to my channel for more comic book content, or check out any of the older videos we have up for offer here on Cat Run Figures. And until next time, I'm your host, Caitlin. Bye.